This guy's cutting me in his basement. He's wearing sweatpants. He told me when to come. And he's listening to Dirk. Ding, 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 ding. Like, this is the job, you know? I can't just be a regular barber now because I'm living an irregular life in their mind, right? I want them to be proud of me, bro. Every son wants their parents to turn around and say, I'm proud of you. I might have went against the grain, but my morals are there. I'm a good person. I'm an honest person. I'll never steal. I respect my parents. I respect my loved ones.
You can never put a price on that.
You can't put a price on it. You can't buy that, right? And because that's genuine human interaction. We're social beings. We are meant to talk to people. And that's the beauty of it, right? When you sit in my chair, you can't use your phone because I'll probably get annoyed. And then I talk to you and you talk to me, and we're updating, we're having real conversation. It's not the power that I enjoy, but it's the ability to change someone's life in a positive way. And that's why I continue posting on social media. Every person in my chair is an opportunity for me to grow. I'm probably the cheapest form of therapy out there. No good speaker sits there on their phone reading like this, you know? So I put the phone down and I just told myself, you know what? I'm gonna speak off the heart and I'm gonna tell these kids the same things I would tell my son or my daughter. I'll always be successful in my eyes as long as I keep trying. Just dream big. And not only dream big, but stay true to yourself. Every day, that's what I'm saying, right? It's a journey to that. Dream big and follow your dreams. That's it.
What's your favorite toppings to put in your stuffed patties?
Probably would be cheese, lettuce, onion, tomato, mayonnaise, you know what I mean? The coleslaw and plantain goes hard too because it gives a little sweet touch to it.
It's all in-house, jerk chicken in-house, patties, everything, start to finish is all made by.
That's right.
Made by you.
Yeah, patties, authentic, handmade. Jerk chicken is my mom's recipe, you know. We make everything in-house.
I've seen that the main recipe that came from all that is from your grandma. Right?
So the patties come from my grandma. That's her recipe. The food is my mother's recipe, you know. But I mean, it essentially comes from my grandmother.
Who started your business?
So me, my mother, and my wife. We started it maybe in 2018. We did a halal food fest. At that time, we had no restaurant or anything, but you know, we were just doing street events, and that's what kind of sparked the idea for the restaurant. We initially had a first restaurant that was called Rose's Halal Kitchen, and then after that, we opened up patty cake and ice cream.
You guys make your own cheesecakes as well, so everything is from scratch.
Yeah, well, the ice cream we get it from like Quarthers or Tropical Treats.
What makes you different from other jerk chicken places, like the patty places?
What we don't do is we don't have our food out in the warmers. You know those warmers when you come in and whatever?
Yeah.
We try to keep our food as fresh as possible.
So what do you do with the food if it's like, if you keep it longer than it's supposed to be?
We try to make a batch for the day. You can't really keep it, you know what I mean? So you make enough, you know, generally for the day, and then once it's done, it's done. Even after that, after we close, I go out and I give out food to, you know, people that are in need of stuff. You know what I mean? Driving around Toronto, it's not hard to find that. So.
Yes.
And you know what? It was just a will of God, you know what I mean? A lot of things just unfolded for me. I literally very, very minimal. Whatever was the minimal to get in, that's what I got.
The Halal Fest till you open your first restaurant. How long was that? Like, do you know the time?
Yes. So the Halal Food Fest was, I think, in May or June.
Okay.
And I opened my first restaurant in September. That's like five months. Even outside of just food, you have to know your business. Whatever business you're going to get into, make sure you know your business. Then you will be able to assess the risks better. You get what I'm saying? If you know the demand, you know who your target market is, you know what I mean? If you could fulfill it, those type of things, then you know if it's worth the risk. As long as you do your research and you take the risk, the reward is worth the risk. You can find a place that's an existing business, and that's going to probably cost you a couple hundred, whatever, you know what I mean? Or you can find a vacant place and make it into a restaurant.
Is that your biggest challenge? That you can't see your kids as much?
Yes, definitely. I was just talking to my wife today about it. Definitely. You know, it is. So, you know, the crazy thing is that all of these guys, the reason why they work with me is because they've been coming to my restaurant before Patty Cake. They've been coming since Roses. They've been coming before they've actually been doing these. A lot of times, you know, your friends are who you are. My mother would always tell me, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah,
That's her saying, along with if you don't hear, you'll feel.
yeah, the saying like if you hang around 3 friends, you're just like them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
If you're 3 billionaires, you'll be the 4th.
Exactly. What I was trying to say is that brotherhood is more important. The quote that I gave, you know, instead of find friends, find brothers that you guys have the same mission and work towards it. You know what I mean? Friends come and go. You know what I'm saying? The people that you keep around you, make sure that you guys have the same mindset. Yeah, I felt like it was do or die. There comes a point in time in a man's life where, you know, you have to make a decision, you know what I mean? Especially when you have a family, you know, you got to provide for them and stuff like that. So, yeah. But once the restaurant came, it gave me some ease. So we had bare minimum back there in the kitchen. 1 table. I had like a drum, you know what I mean? The same thing that if you've seen the video I did with Golden Gully. That's how I cooked the chicken.
You cooked the chicken like that?
No, you know what I mean?
No stove, no grill, nothing.
Nothing.
Just
charcoal and that.
Just the barrel.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And had a little pot, and we made rice and, you know, some gravy and stuff. And every little money that I got, I'd buy another table. Then I bought a stove, gas. You know what I'm saying? People don't know that, you know what I mean? But that's how we started. If you're gonna get into the food industry, first things first is quality. Whatever it is whatever cuisine that you're selling, make sure there's quality. The other thing I would do is know who you're selling to. Know your customer. I would say be patient. And also understand that not just in the food industry, but in general, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You know what I mean?
First song.
Yeah, and this
It
is
was
another
an
song.
NBA.
Yeah, and there's another song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have 2 songs in the NBA.
Wow.
Yeah.
First song.
And this is not, I think this is my like what, 13th, 14th release? 12th. I don't even keep track of how many songs I've released, but I know the names, but I don't know how many songs I've released. But
So you put your heart and soul into that first song. And then you said because of what was happening in your past and your life that caused that to make that song? Is that how it...
I was kind of venting myself like when I first started making music, but I wanted to be a part of this NBA 2K21 soundtrack. So I was thinking about, I'll be honest, I was thinking about things that people would rap about, like which was money, cars, and basketball, right? Something at the time, I wasn't rich at the time, but I was cap rapping. Yeah, I admit it. Yeah, I was cap rapping because growing up, bro, like I was listening to all this music and like that's what was feeding me. And then I learned over time, like, bro, you got to be authentic to yourself. You got to rap about what is meaningful to you, what makes you different.
Yeah.
I started learning more and more about the music industry, more about branding, like what should you be doing. And there was always people around me telling me this. I signed like a distribution deal at such a young age, like what was it, 14, 15, 16, 17 at the time. Signed my first deal. I'm not with United Masters anymore, but you know, I still have like love for them for what they've done to me and how cause like, yo, they don't give opportunities like this to any artist, especially like South Asian artists. They reach back out as a contract and they're like, are you okay to sign? And I read over everything with the entertainment lawyer and my dad. My mom and my dad didn't know what a soundtrack was, what this even means. They didn't even know how big it was. To them, they don't even know what 2K is. And then I'm gonna have to break it down like, yo, this is the game I play. And they're like, damn, like, okay. You know, it's just like a full circle moment for me, bro. And I think the most love I ever got was from my cousins. People don't get opportunities like a golden ticket. So super grateful, man, for that.
If someone was in your shoes, right, dealing with like hate and all that stuff, like what would you tell them? Like, what's a great way? Let's say I got hate for doing this podcast, but like,
yo, be authentic to yourself. You're always going to be hated on. Me growing up, I was always hated on. And you know, people are going to hate you or love you, but you know what your vision is. You know what you want to achieve. All I know is that's the goal and mindset that I have. If you don't like me or if you don't like my music, it's all good. But I just know where I'm going to go. And I don't need people, like the people that are here, they're going to support me. And if you don't fuck with it, it's all good. You're going to watch me get there. Bro, just got to keep going for like whatever you want. You know what you want, bro. A lot of people don't know what you want. and they want to bring you down because they have a perception of life, or they wish that they were you, or they just think you're different, you know. But no one really matters when it comes to like what you want to do. Forget about the hate. Focus on criticism. Of course, like sometimes you want to improve, right? So like, of course, I always taking in criticism, getting better at my craft, putting in more time and hours into my stuff. I look back at it and be like, damn, like there's so much that I've overcome. There's so much that happened in my life. But look at me, I'm still here. Look at me, I'm still pushing. Look at me, these are obstacles that I've overcome. And there's so much more to come, I know, and I'm still going to be capturing those moments. But yeah, it's you gotta embrace it, bro. You gotta embrace things that you've been through and embrace the struggle or embrace your obstacles that you've overcome, because they make you who you are as a person. You know, you learn so much from them, from the lessons, you learn so much about yourself, you know, going through these experiences and moments.
Why did you want to get into that acting, comedy, that sector?
Because I was born with that talent. That is not something I started after I moved here. I always had that knack for acting ever since I was a kid. I used to do a lot of stage dramas, stage theoretical performances live in front of a lot of people when I was 5 years old, and then as I matured, the passion increased as well. So I did a lot of research on what is acting, what is camera work, what is editing, color correction. So I did all of that research by myself. And then I was able to do everything by myself. So I didn't have a team. It was just me. The passion was there ever since I was a kid. Yeah. Now it's even more, but yeah.
How do you manage nursing and as well as making, like, doing the editing, like try to do all the scenes, try to make the comedy?
So on the days off, I do my edits and then I do my postings, and mostly Saturday, Sundays, I will record it. And then whenever I don't have a class or whenever I'm off, sometimes it's the classes are from home. So I find my time. After I started working, things changed. I had to have a couple of my good friends to help me with my edits. So I just have to go act, and then they will edit it, color correct it, and then they will send it to me. I will watch it. Nice, post it. So
when did you start all the acting? Like,
I started acting when I was in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
I went to a school called St. Thomas College, Mount Lavinia, in a city called Mount Lavinia.
Okay.
Mount Lavinia. And then every year there is a annual Tamil talent show. So everyone dances, sings, a lot of different types of crafts. So I started my acting ever since I was little.
What was the first incident or like the first task that you had to do to become, like, to start your comedy, the acting?
It was at a church event. It was a Sunday school event. They dressed me up as a grandfather. So I had a small walking stick with a big old glasses, and I have to act like a grandfather, and people loved it. My mom still tells me, like, everyone were like, they came back and said, oh, your son is talented. Oh my God, he pulled the role for his age. How can he do that? So they were like, they were pushing. But of course, you Tamil parents, you can't explain creative arts as a career. They will be scared. What if that fails? What is my son going to do to survive, right? So my mom never really supported from the earliest stage. But she also likes my acting, so she enjoys it. So every chance I get, every opportunity I got, even in church or in schools, she's my makeup artist. She will come there, she will put makeup on me. Like if I have to dress up as a girl, she does everything. She was extremely supportive in that way because they all saw that I had a little bit of a talent in acting ever since I was a kid.
How much would it usually take for a person to just get into that industry?
It is extremely hard to get into the industry. The competition is extremely high. There's a lot of people who can act. If you want to become professional in something, you also have to take risks and try something new, right? So I also sing, but I never went to a classical teacher or I never learned singing professionally, but I used to sing in church choir. So they used to give vocal training, but it's more like Western musical education, you know. I don't know how to say it, like do re mi fa sol la ti do ti la so fa mi re, things like that, so to get your voice out there, right? So I did that when I was a kid, and then I tried to do a couple of cover songs here and there, and then people were like, bro, you sing, you can sing, okay. So that's it, they push me. Same thing with MC. I did one event, one of my fans, she told me, David, I really need you to be my host. I was like, I don't do MC. I can't. No. She was like, no, I will train you. She said, I will train you. At the end, they were like, bro, your Tamil and the English, yo, how are you doing this? Amazing. I was like, okay. They push me. They're like, do that. You're good at it. I used to be a huge fan of wrestling growing up. So John Cena, Batista, Undertaker. I used to have those like a Pokemon cards. We used to collect it. So those guys are jacked, huge guys, right? So I want to look like that one day. What do I have to do to get there? Again, just like how the acting passion started, my fitness passion started at that young age too. If you want to do a lot of good roles in acting in the future, you can't be too big. You won't fit into all the roles. So I also understood that, because one of my good friends is a director. He told me, think about that. I'm not going to tell you don't do it, but think about that. So it started long time ago, bodybuilding, and it's also a healthy lifestyle. Just to add on to that, also your mental health. Gym will help you with that. It will help you be focused. So every time I have a setback in my life, gym was a big part of my life to help me get up and run back at it again.
What's the craziest suggestion you done? We had a few people want a Thanksgiving pizza. So like put like turkey, gravy, potato, I get mashed potatoes, I guess. Like stuffing. I saw it. My wife sent me an Instagram recipe of one, and it actually looked half decent, but we don't use any chicken or turkey. I find most places that use chicken, it's like the preformed chicken, like pizza or whatever. It's like the pre-cooked, and like that's not really what we do. So chicken dries out quick. So if we did it, it'd have to be probably like chicken thighs, and we'd have to like do like some serious testing on it, like just see what would work. But I don't know, maybe one day.
What would be your favorite pizza?
Our 6B. So it has anything spicy I love. So this one has pepperoni, fresh garlic, Calabrian chilies, basil, and hot honey.
Oh,
Sounds
delicious.
and on a Roman dough that we do at lunch for slices. That's my favorite pizza.
Yeah, you were talking to me about your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Right? So you started something, and then you started another thing, and then you started your pizza shop.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
The pizza shop? Or just in general?
It was your entrepreneurial journey.
I don't even, like, I've always wanted to start my own things I like to do, like cooking I love to do, so that was kind of a natural. I'm always like, I wonder if I can do a business with that. Like, I'm into mountain biking now. Like, just during the pandemic, me and my buddy started mountain biking. Logan that works with me, he comes out too, and I'm like, I wonder if there's something I can do with business mountain biking, but that's a tough.
And was there any inspiration? Like, did someone cook it for you, or
I don't know if we talked about this previously. So Joe Badia, that guy. So I was in my photography business. Fro Knows Photos is the photographer. He was in Philadelphia. He used to go down to Pizzeria Badia and get pizza, and I saw them like, that looks like the best pizza ever. And then Joe Badia released a cookbook, and I got it the first day I could and made some pizza for the whole family. And I tried it. I was like, I had to make something like this here. I guess you could say my whole business kind of based off that cookbook. That's one of the things. Like, if I can't find something, I'll be like, okay, there's an opportunity here. Let's give it a try.
what keeps you motivated to keep on going?
Money. That's a huge thing. Like, yeah, like my previous businesses didn't do great, and I learned a ton from them. Like, not to do too much too fast. Like right now we do, like, if we're releasing new products, kind of slow, give it away if we need to, let people try it, get some feedback, and then kind of roll it out slowly.
How do you find someone that is like, oh, this person, I know he'll be a great fit here. I mingle with this person.
It is tricky to find or to manage your staff. Different personalities, different needs.
I notice when I see Mark's Pizza,
Yeah.
it's your sign.
Yeah.
So can you tell me
your story behind your side. So that was, my daughter did that when she was 8. So she's going to be 15. So 7 years ago-ish. And she did that. We needed a sign for one of our pop-ups that we did. And she's like, you want me to make you one? I'm like, sure. So she did it on paper, just hand drew it. And then she stuck it on a pizza or on a shoebox and then put a paper towel holder on the bottom. And we kind of stuck it up. We still have it at the shop, and I scanned, like when I was actually starting to do the business, I scanned it and digitized it, and we've had a few like 1-star reviews, and I always respond to them, because if they felt like that coming, then they might be having a bad day, but there's always a little bit of truth. Maybe there's something we didn't do that we should have done, and everything at the shop is my responsibility. Even if I'm not there and somebody does something, if somebody screws up, like I haven't taught or shown them the proper way, given them the proper feedback on how to handle something. So in the end, everything comes down to me. I know people say like, find something that you love and you never work. It is work. But if you like it, if you love it, it helps a lot going into work every day. Like people are like, are you sick of pizza? I'm like, no, I still love it. Like I love eating it. I like making it. And like, just be nice too.
I started my business with like a Canon. I was meant to shoot. The reason why I got into it was to shoot like videos for a guy, like a basketball guy, like a guy that plays basketball, and like really like I just shot basketball videos for him, but like he kind of flopped on me every single time. So like I ended up taking the camera. Like he gave me his camera to start my business up, and then like he gave me his camera to film stuff for him, and then I didn't really do that. Like he flopped on me every single time. So I'm like, okay. So I just started using the camera in other purposes, started filming other stuff, and like, the thing is, I was fairly new to the game. So the thing is, you rather like get into it and learn, right? Like I'm more of like a person that I learn, like I pick up things fast. I pick things up pretty fast, but like the thing is, I have to like visually see it, experience it firsthand. Like people gotta be like, do it, and then I gotta watch, comprehend it, make mistakes, and grow. That's the type of person I am. My first video is for a barbershop called Black Diamond Barbershop. I sent the video 3 months later. It was like an LA fitness video. Like I shot at LA. I think it got like 13K views. Insane. It was a mix of emotions, straight up. That day was a mix of emotions. One of my scariest stories is, especially because I'm starting off, this is like big. Like $100 is big. What happened was the SD card, like I put it onto my thing, and then I transferred it to my SSD. I put it into my SSD. I was opening my SSD. I was talking to my friend like that night too, and like I somehow, like I don't know what I did. All the files disappeared. There's like a person that once told me this, like to know a person, you gotta know what they say no to. There's a lot of things that brought me here as a person. Like I've grown as a person, obviously, for sure, but like there's obviously a lot of things that like I've done that like I regret as well. Like like not communicating to my clients, right? One thing I didn't do properly was communicating is like a big thing. One thing I didn't do was that learn how to say no. Like don't say yes to everything. Why you make decisions for yourself, be able to make decisions for yourself, right? Like why do you have to say yes to everything? Don't take too much. Now you're committed to too many things, right? Don't be committed to too many things. Be committed to like important things, like make your focus more like narrow, right? Focus on one path, or like surround yourself with the right people as well. Like that's another thing as well. Like you surround yourself with people that are like focused on the same goal, then or focus on their goals in general, then you'll be focused on your goals. Like
the last 3-4 years of my life, I've kind of just been doing a mix of like really just random things, trying to see, because like obviously you never know what your calling is, right? That's not possible to know at a young age, right? Like you graduate high school at some people 17, some people at 18, and like for me, I think I realized like once I was in university, like I don't really know, right? I dropped out of school twice, and I was trying to see like if I had any skills to like edit it, and like just kind of like where my vision was at like artistically, right? So I did that for a bit, and then I did projects such as I would like work on my origami projects. Special part about me traveling is not the 10 different, or I went to this country or I went to that country, it's the people that I met and the relationships that I formed, right? I think that right there is what's like what we should be important. Like especially as a citizen of this world, like it's our job to, I'd say, to leave the world in a better place than we found it, right? Let's talk about like, the people I met, what I did in those countries. Because obviously when you say 10 countries, people assume that, oh, this person's rich, this person must have money. But no, all I really have is like, I know how to find places, I know how to find things, I know how to talk to people, and I know how to get around through that, right? Because really, like, just genuine human kindness will take you so far in life. Right? And me traveling and being able to travel and meet these people is just proof of that. So I applied to the job, they replied back, and we go through the whole like, interview process, getting to know like, why are you doing this, all that. I'm just talking to these guys on WhatsApp saying, yo, I'm gonna be here. Like you don't really, like I don't even know who the person I was saying, like what they even look like, right? Like I didn't even know if they were gonna have a sign for me when I like just landed. Like it was a complete mystery.
Yeah. So you got to Honduras, right?
Oh,
Then you made it to the school.
Then I made it to the school.
And then how did that play out?
Not just the teaching part, but the community as well is so important to bring attention to as well. And I remember literally they come over and they're like treating you. They're like, come over for food, come over for dinner, like the people in the village.
Break it down. How was the first week?
For me, like, I'd say as a teacher, I'm serious, man. You know what I mean? Like when I'm teaching, you know what I mean? Like it's really hard for me, like, not to show people that excitement, that happiness, right? And then I actually have a super funny story. I was so nervous, right? Because there's 20 kids, and the fact that I can't even recite the alphabet is crazy, right? Like I'm literally thinking something. I'm like, oh my god, how am I gonna be a teacher if I can't recite the own alphabet? While I was there, because I'm in like a village, right? We had to be conscious of our materials, right? And it really makes you conscious. Like for example, while I was living there were times water would run out. Water would run out a couple days, and you'd really have to like ration the water. Like use maybe like less than this to clean like 10 dishes. The first goodbye wasn't really a goodbye. Like they all said, teacher, I'll miss you. I don't want like, the supply teachers. I want a teacher. I only want you. Right? But they knew I was going to come back. And I also told them like, look, if they're all on their best behavior, I'll bring them gifts. And I brought them all gifts.
What'd you bring them?
From Dollarama, I bought a bunch of those Canada glasses, like the Canada flag glasses.
Yeah.
And I obviously like I don't have a lot of money. Like I can't, but if I could buy them, like if I could buy them anything, like I'd buy them flight tickets to Canada so they could experience like the culture here. Like that's what I would buy them. But a bunch of like little cute toys. So I just got them 20 glasses. And I remember coming back 20 glasses. I bought them candy. I bought them like a keychain, like a bunch of like little cute Canada gift souvenirs. Like I told all the kids this. I told all the kids like this is my last day, and in my room I want to always remember you guys. So I want you to draw me a letter, write me a letter, just give me something from you and your heart to me, and I will cherish that for the rest of my life. Mention like this relationship isn't just one way. I'm not just teaching you, you're teaching me. Right? And that's like the point I want to prove to these kids as well. Like not only did I teach them, but they taught me many things as well. Right? So in that letter, I was like, thank you for this. You did this for me. I love you. And I gave each kid that letter. And like I could see them open it up. And they're asking teachers, oh, can you translate it? Because they want to know what I said. And then I have like, oh man, I have a folder, man, just like a bunch of letters and souvenirs that some of these kids were giving me that would invite me for dinner. And then we would invite them for dinner. We'd make them food. Right? So like that last day was literally full of just tears. There's a site called workaway.com, and that's what I use to travel. But what I use is Workaway, and there was a school in Ecuador that said, yeah, come teach, I'll give you accommodation, lunch here and there. And then that's what I did. And then I stayed in Ecuador for a couple of days. I taught English to a language school. And yeah, that's what I did. These kids are talking to me, so obviously I'm talking to them. I'm giving them the respect they're giving me. I'm giving them back. And also like I said, being authentic, being genuine. And the last thing I think is the ability to put a smile on someone's face. I think that is huge. Like the ability to put a smile on someone's face to make someone laugh, like that really, really opens the doors to so much, man. What brought us together actually was the kids. There's something called pulparindo. Right, it's a Mexican. It's a candy. It's a Mexican candy, right? And that's literally what started our friendship. Those kids offered me pulparindo, right? And then from there, every day they see me, like, you want pulparindo? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? They give me a pulparindo, right? And they're like, before we leave, this gift was for you. They give me a box of pulparindo. Right? And it's just something like that. And you know what they say? Like, they're like, oh, come to Monterrey, come visit us, right? And like, who in their right mind says like, you know, people say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll see you later. Or I told them I'll see you next month. I'm basically, I don't want to go into a charity, but I work for a charity and we try to get monthly donations, right? And like, obviously it's something where it's like, you know, it's like $15 is the minimum donation. And it's like, you know, you ask these people, hey, listen, a cup of coffee a day, $15. It's not gonna take too much of your time if you're financially stable, or even if you're not, right? To me, it's not even that, because obviously you can understand it to a certain extent. Like, if people don't know where their money is going and, you know, they don't see like the help that they're actually doing like firsthand, then it's a bit difficult, right? But there was this homeless guy yesterday, like just sitting down, and he was most likely on drugs. He was just going he was just kind of moving his arms crazy, and he was screaming, I need water, I need water. The fact that like everyone passed by him is insane, no? Because think about it. This isn't something where it's like, yeah, you're donating $15 for like my donation and for my charity, right? But 50 cents, 20 cents to go inside, get a cup of water, to give this man screaming, I need water, whether he, you know, he's homeless, he's on drugs, whatever, right? And to ignore a man in your community, right, is crazy. The fact that everyone ignored this man, you know, like, and it's hard to think like, how are you supposed to like get people to donate for like your charity when they can't even see it, when they won't help a guy that's like in front of them? Well, Honduras was the toughest one. Honduras was actually the toughest one. When I came back, I remember me and my two friends came to pick me up from the airport. And like, I literally like cried in the car. I was so sad. I cried in the car. Cried in the car like a baby, because I told you, you know, I missed them a lot. I missed them. I missed them a lot. Whatever it is that you guys want to do in the future, whether if it's traveling, if it's going to university, try to be mindful and grateful for the people around you. Try to say thank you when you can. Try to, you know, like when you're able to do good, and really take care of yourself and everyone around you. Don't do any bad. And I just want people to live their life.
Cause I like reliving the moment, cause it felt like it was like kind of meant to happen, to be honest. So I come from a music background. My dad was really into music anyways, and then my bros are really into music. My oldest bro produced, my other older bro made music, and I used to play around with iMovie from like grade 6 or whatever the case may be. You know iMovie on the iPhone?
Yeah.
So I used to make like little skits, and I was a kid. I still have like skits of myself. So you don't want to be pursuing two things, you know? So as I was sitting in the living room one day with my oldest brother, and I just finished working C&E, so I had my C&E check. I was up at the time, you know, I had my C&E check, and then my brother, he looked at me, he's like, yo, why don't you use the camera and start shooting music videos? And then I looked at him and I said, yo, that's not like a bad idea. And then he first offered to even like pay for the first couple of months for my editing software, which is super real of him. And then yeah, ever since then, I just did not look back. And right now, I still feel like there's still so much more to go. Like I'm still nowhere, but better than where I was when I started, for sure. Then I didn't go to university or college. Literally, like, so summer ended, and the first day of school back for everyone else is the same day that I got my laptop and downloaded the Premiere. So as soon as summer ended, there was literally no time wasted. Got into it ASAP. And then haven't stopped since. So another way I needed to get clientele is I started a show called Heater Processes, where I'd get the process of artists in the studio. So they would be making music and I'd record their process, and then at the end I show them a little snippet. That was an easy way that I was giving people for free.
How long have you started your business so far?
I started it in like 2019, but I think it really started, like my first ever music video or something was like probably like 2020.
Like, do you have like a drawing board or something in your office? So like, yo, this shot's like this, next shot's like this, next shot's like this.
Yeah. I did have a drawing board first, but then I got rid of that and I moved things digitally. So now like I'll do stuff on like an iPad, or I'll do it on like a computer, and I'll use AI for some of the stuff, like trying to visually see something. But most of the times I'm just grabbing frames from different music videos if it matches my vibe, to try to showcase the mood board. Have you ever heard of Milanote? That's what I mainly use for like coming up with ideas or taking the ideas and flooding out. Web design, website stuff is very useful for small businesses on the up and up. So from early, I knew that I wanted a production company or a team to start being able to do stuff, because I wanted to incorporate VFX in my videos at a very early stage of my shooting career, but I didn't want to learn all of that because there's a lot to learn, but I'm still trying to be the best director I could be because that's the role I'm trying to play. Okay, so me personally, I don't really care too much about skill set yet, especially when I'm in the process of building. I mainly care about hunger. If you have morals and the way you think, hunger, morals, and the way you think, and you have to add some type of value. You know what I mean? And if you have value that you could add, or we could trade, or do whatever, then that's good. But the value can't be alone because some people can have a whole bunch of stuff, but like the work ethic won't be there, the grind won't be there, or honestly, I may not just like them as a person. But some people, like, their vibe is really nice. It's good people to be around. I can learn from you. We can learn from each other. And you want to do this, and you see yourself growing in this. And the biggest thing is people who trust the process, because I'm not where I need to be. I'm not where I want to be. Where I want to be is way bigger than this, and we want to be working with labels, this, that, and the third. But none of that could happen if you guys don't trust the process and where you believe that I could take us to. I don't really care too much if they know me, for sure, but I want my impact to be so huge that maybe the people in the music industry know me, maybe they don't, but you're seeing my work everywhere. Like, you cannot hide it, and you cannot, like, there's no dodging. You have 100% seen this work. So that's where I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a household name, or at least a household product that I put out. The things that I have now, I didn't have at the start. And if I was able to grow with what I had from the start, imagine what I could do with the things that I have now. And if I got here from where I started then, where am I going to be in 5 years from what I have now? And what I have now is way more stuff than I had before. So if I was able to get here, I'm able to go way farther. One thing I told my mom when I was young too is, like, I'd rather do a lot of stuff that I enjoy rather than just get the money. I feel like I'll be way more drained in that realm.
Is there any one key, if you could say to any aspiring directors or video directors out there, what's like one thing that you would tell them, like, about just editing?
About editing, yeah, specifically.
Like, what's the thing that you had a really hard time, like, I don't know, like, doing, pretty much, basically?
Thing I have a really hard time doing, or something like that was hard to me, or is hard to me now?
Both.
It's both. Okay. Something that was hard to me.
So for example, like lighting, like certain way that lighting has to be, and like, yo, this, I seen like this neutral light will be much better for me. Or
see, that's the thing though. When I was using lights before, I didn't know I was not using lights properly until I started using the lights good. So you know what, I'll say that, yeah, lighting is key. Lighting is key. Lighting and composition. That's what I'll say. It doesn't really matter about what you have to a certain extent. Obviously, when you get to a certain level, you're going to want to get the bigger cameras. But as a beginner, what I would say is, it doesn't matter about the expensive camera. It doesn't matter about this, that, and the third. Don't spend your money on this camera. Spend your money on these lights instead, and learn about composition. So that's definitely a big thing that I'd tell anyone coming up to do. Just keep going. That's the most generic advice I could say. But like, honestly, if you don't stop and you learn from your losses, or you take your lessons from that and you continue to grow, like, you're going to see growth. And regardless, you need to sacrifice a lot of time to be able to take shoots, edit the shoots, learn from the shoots, and do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in order to get to a certain position. But not only that, you need to have a goal, because there's people that been shooting longer, or whatever the case may be, and they don't have a team. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that it probably just wasn't a part of their goal, so it didn't align with them. But if you don't have a clear goal, you're not going to have no destination. So if you don't have a clear goal, you're not going to be able to know where you're going. You have a clear goal, you have a destination, so you're going to now know the steps you need to take to get to that goal. So clear goal setting and sacrificing time, that's just going to get you in a position. Wherever focus goes, energy flows and results show. Put your focus somewhere, a lot of energy will flow there, and a lot of results will show.
I'm just a guy that's looking to better myself on a daily basis.
why did you even start real estate?
Funny story, my dad one day pointed out a sign and said, hey, you can get your license in 90 days. I was 17 at the time. One of those billboards where they were advertising to get your license. And my dad pointed at it, and I'm like, I think it'd be pretty cool to have my license while I'm in university as well. So decided to go and take up on the challenge. And then a few years later, ended up getting licensed while I was still in university. So I kind of just fell into it. First property I ever sold was my parents' home. And then, yeah, things took off from there.
And what is that? You probably go put it on realtor.ca or something.
There's two sides. There's a purchase side and a sales side. So on the sales side, we go into the property, we analyze. We'll go in for a no obligation meeting. We'll kind of have a look at the property. We'll do a report for our client, show the client what we are all about. And then we come up with a whole plan on how we're going to obtain their price. We keep track of everybody that went through the property. We'll follow up, until they tell us to, fork off. And so yeah, you just have to keep following up, and then we get buyer leads from that, and we'll maneuver those clients to other properties. And then you'll get an offer on a property. You present it to the seller. The seller will say yes or no, and then once it's done, you have the whole closing process where the lawyers then take over.
Is that the broad for usually all properties or everyone,
For
or
the
is
most
it just
part, yeah.
or is it yours? Like, okay, this is how I do it.
That's the best way I can kind of explain it for the masses, on how the journey goes and how things are. But obviously, there's the nitty gritty as well on the inside. Hunting for properties, what to hunt out for, how to source a property, right? How do you leverage our network to find something off market, stuff like that. We last year did 126 deals as a team. You have to build the customer base, you have to build the community, you have to network, you have to do good to everybody else, and really offer the greatest food, right? That's just a food for thought.
You're 6th in the world for Remax.
Yeah, so 6th in the world for small team commercial. So commercial real estate wise in the world, we ranked number 6 last year in 2024, and number 5 in all of Canada for commercial real estate.
If I want to become the number 1 pallet business across the world, right, or across Canada, right, no one from Halifax is gonna know about me. No one from British Columbia is gonna know about me, right?
Yeah.
So that's the same thing. That's why we got to get that marketing, like how you said.
Yeah,
the marketing
branding is everything. I think whatever brand it is, even in your business, I feel like you should create a whole. You just never know what kind of client you're going to get just because of that website that you set up, or that Instagram you set up, or the brand you set up. You may get a few mega clients, and just because you did the branding.
So that's like a great advice for like probably a person. You know how you say it was a recession, and then when you hear that on the news, right, from the banks and stuff, does it like really impact you? It's like, okay, now we need to alter this. Okay, now we gotta attack these deals in a different way now, or like, okay, it doesn't matter what the bank says, the government says, right? We're still going at the same way.
You do have to change your marketing strategy for sure. Whether the market's great or bad, or we're just in the mix, we're just gonna continue to take market share, right? That's our goal.
What's the hardest challenge you faced?
Hardest challenge in real estate, I think, was the very beginning when, I was just thinking about leaving the industry, and then learning that you should just educate yourself before getting into anything. So I feel like education has been the best tool. Thankfully, we have an online platform like YouTube. Really helped me a lot. And
you see, when you said you were gonna quit, right? So what pushed you through?
Knowing good people, doing good to other people, and vice versa, and you have good people around you, that goes a very long way. So starting sooner than you can, always the best thing you can do in anything you want to do. Think about the positive aspects, right? It's like, don't think of the negative things. Okay, what can I get out of this program? Or, what am I spending all this on? And people don't look at it from that way. They're like, this textbook, and this textbook's not going to go anywhere. Don't look at the small picture. Look at the long-term game, right? And anything you do, I feel like if you have a bigger vision and you have bigger goals, it'll all start, putting into the pieces start fitting in. Stay consistent to your principles. You will overcome everything else. You know what to do, right? You just have that goal in mind. You can now set up routines around that. And it'll make it a lot easier to tackle whatever obstacle you have coming up.
3 years ago, you guys started from home, and then slowly made it into commercial kitchens.
We are growing, so we are hoping to grow more so that we can expand our team. When we were kids, every time we went to the grocery store, there's all these desserts which everyone can have, but we cannot have.
During the Diwali, we have like New Year's Day, it's Ankut. Every Diwali, we used to make cakes, different types of cakes, different shapes of cakes, and we used to take it to the temple. And we've been doing this since we were kids.
So our last name is Sony, so we just called it Sony Eggless Cakes, because at that moment we were just focusing on eggless or vegetarian desserts.
Egg is a huge factor into like pastries. You guys substituting it, and then also as well tasting it like making it taste really well is another challenge.
When we first started, it was like very basic flavors. Our mom, she really inspired us into trying new and different flavors. She was like, let's try ras malai, gulab jamun. We tested it, so we gave it to her colleagues, her and other people, and they really liked it.
And now we get orders not just from our temple, but like our website, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that.
Has there ever been anything that you put on the menu that you guys took off?
One time I made this butterscotch cake. It didn't turn out that great. Before it was just like as it comes, we just did it. But now it's like more frequent. We're trying to make it more proper.
You were talking about your big commercial orders, right? So with your limited space, how do you guys do that?
We went to the kitchen, so it allowed us to create stuff in bigger batches.
And then when you're finished cooking everything or like baking everything, then you bring it back home, or
We have these tins we did for the Toronto Food and Drink Fest. We just keep the cakes. We store them in a box and then we store them in the fridge.
so let's say if I wanted to get something, would I have to come to your place?
We have an online presence, so we started off solely from Instagram. We also have our website, or if they have our personal number, because it's also on Google.
Or we have delivery options as well. We have a shipping option, which is across the GTA. And then we have hands-on delivery that we do personally for like larger orders, like wedding cakes, a lot of other larger desserts and setups and stuff. There's pickup available. Anyone can pick up. It's free. Took us 3 years to find them. It's just like a lot of back and forth and making sure the logistics work out.
That's a lot of back and forth movement for just a cake. It's already going from the kitchen to your house, and then to your house to someone else's house, and someone else's house to the actual place. I bet your heart is always pounding till the cake gets to to the venue.
Until they send us.
Good, is it
Yeah.
bad? Until we get some feedback on it.
Yeah. Some people say like I want a sweeter cake. Some people say I don't want a sweet cake. So we make sure to ask for the preference. This is something that we have on our order form for our custom cakes.
For these custom orders, some of the cakes you have never made before, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know how you have pistachio and chocolate? How do you know, when you guys are making it and you give it to them, how do you know if they're gonna like it or not?
If we have 2-3 weeks on hand, we will make sure we do a trial batch before we do something for the customer.
Have you ever got a customer that you're like, I wasn't a fan of the cake?
It's heartbreaking sometimes because we put everything into it. It does make me question sometimes like how do we fix it? It hasn't happened a lot.
Yeah.
Like maybe like it's like maybe like
It's-
1 or 2 times that's happened, but it's just one time that we've like never really heard back, got any response when we try to like, reach out, try to make it better, try to like see what we can do. But then I think about all those people that we've actually served and like, made a community with and become like a family. They're going to miss our products because they won't be able to get that elsewhere. If they do, it won't be the same quality.
These two are cakes, and this is also
It's a
cake is-
pastry,
Yeah, but they're all cakes,
okay.
just different
Yes.
forms.
Man, for sure you'll get an order from me.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much
You're
for being a
welcome.
part of the podcast.
Thanks for
You stepped into one of the most dangerous careers probably in the world. Why did you get into boxing?
It's actually not a dangerous story of how I got in, though. I just watched a TV show about the sport of boxing called Hajime no Ippo. And then I just liked how the main character was like going about his life and he's being an underdog. And then the same summer I watched that TV show, I just went to a boxing gym and I just got started. Because he was like a kid getting bullied in school, and I got jumped in school, and I was so mad I couldn't beat the guys who jumped me. So then I just started boxing after that.
How was the training section?
The training session itself, it was tiring. It was good. I remember I was like, yo, I have to prove my worth to this coach, right? So I was like, yo, I got to train extra hard. I got to show him. So when I was hitting the bag, I like hit it nonstop for like so many rounds. And then he told me to stop, but I kept going. And he's like, no, you're good. Like, you don't need to do all that. So I was like always trying to push myself like from day one.
But because it's pretty difficult when it's like more endurance based, cardio based.
So it's like a combination of strength, speed, everything.
But wasn't that difficult because you say you were on the basketball team,
Mm.
right? And you were playing basketball. And like that's totally different. Conditioning for basketball compared to conditioning for boxing are two different things.
Yeah.
Right. So how was it? How was the conditioning part of just boxing and like the first couple of years?
I think boxing is like a completely different animal. It's not like there's no other sport like similar to that type of endurance. And then also in basketball, like if you get tired, like you can lean on your teammates, but in boxing you can't. There's no one to lean on. You just got to do it yourself, right? So if you get tired, it's like on you, and you're gonna get hurt. That's another thing. Like,
did your grandfather make an impact on you? Well, was he? Because I think he was also in the martial arts as well. So because he was doing MMA and kickboxing as well.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about, but I didn't know that at the time I started boxing. So then I just like started boxing. I started getting fights and stuff. And then my relatives told me after, like, oh, you know, your grandpa did this and that.
Oh, that's why you're the first professional Tamil Canadian boxer.
Yeah, first Tamil Canadian professional
boxer. That's incredible. That's honestly insane. Like representing the Tamil Canadian too.
Mhm.
Run me down your first amateur fight.
Oh, my first amateur fight. That's So I fought at a time there was no age category. So I was 17 years old, and they matched me up with a guy who was like over 20. He was like 25, 26 or something. So my coach thought I was good. I was good enough. I was good enough. So I went into the fight with this guy who was like 26, but I had to lose weight for the fight. So you have to lose like I had to lose like 5-6 pounds. So I didn't eat like the day or two before the fight. So then I went into the fight. All 3 rounds I like didn't stop punching. I just like kept running at the guy, like trying to hit him, and he kind of like outboxed me. But I didn't win that fight. But I lost every round. I didn't get beat up or anything like that. But it was just like a close fight. But I was just so sad I lost my first fight, man. I was just
You go from amateur fight, right? Or you can just go straight to pro, but then it's not worth it because you don't have no experience or nothing. So it goes from basically you start with a couple like what 80 to between 80 to 100 or maybe even more amateur fights, then go to pro, right? And then in pro, where do you go after that?
it's only pro.
It's just pro, okay.
But also amateur boxing is a little weird because in the Olympics, it's only amateur. It's not pro boxers in the Olympics. So you have to stay an amateur to be in the Olympic boxing. But being an amateur boxer in the Olympics is like, it's like the equivalent of being a professional.
How many hours do you train for?
Since I turned professional, it's a lot more. I'd say like 4 hours a day. Yeah, 4 or 5 hours a day.
Before, like when you were in university?
When I was in university, I think I still didn't take as much advantage of my time as I should have. Like looking back on it, I was like, oh, I could have like tightened it up even more. Like I got it done, but I think I probably could have still done 4 or 5 hours even back then. But I would say back then I did like 3 hours a day.
What's the hardest challenge you ever faced? While boxing, would it be this friends, like not talking to them? Or is there like, I don't know, do you get into your own head sometimes?
I feel like it's not really like boxing itself or like sparring or fighting somebody. Like I don't care. Like I'll do that anyway. It's just when everything hits you at once.
Who do you fight for?
I definitely say for my family. I think it's something that boxing has always taught me. It's like, don't let the highs get too high or don't let the lows be too low. Just because you like win something doesn't mean you have to like go out and celebrate as if you won like the world championship or like you have to like go be over the top or anything. The same way, if something like really bad happens in your life, you don't have to like sink all the way to the bottom and be depressed and not do anything. You gotta like always like, don't take the highs too high, don't take the lows too low, stay in the middle, don't be emotionally like unstable. Just keep floating in the middle and like things, just trend your success like upwards. And slowly I think everything will like piece together and the stars will align. And just make sure to do things that way. Like nothing like great was built overnight. So you just gotta like keep being consistent, take things day by day, and one day everything will come true.